Hey guys, Joe here, and today we are in my living room and we're filming on a light background so you can see what we're doing. I do listen to my comments every now and then, not often, but sometimes. And today we're taking a look at something really cool. You saw a short on it because I wanted to at least let you guys know it was available before I did any sort of detailed review. This is on loan from Liberty Arms. Great guys, great people, very fair pricing. Check them out, Harrisonburg, Virginia. They don't pay me for the reviews. They just let me borrow the firearms. I actually spend more money than I have ever earned working for them. So just know that this is not a paid review. They aren't doing anything like that. I don't even get ammunition. I get to work there every now and then when they need a day off, and then they hook me up by letting me borrow these guns. So, Harrisonburg, Virginia, Google them. I can't put links. KelTec, based out of Florida, fun company. They build some of the goofiest stuff you've ever seen, and their manufacturing, shipping, and marketing schemes are so weirdly disconnected. It's hilarious. But KelTec has made some of the funnest stuff in a long time. They came out with the Sub 2K, which I've owned. That's a folding PCC, so it's a backpack gun that originally was made to only take Glock mags, but now they have mag well inserts, so you can change that out, much like a Ruger PCC, but the gun doesn't come apart, it just folds in half. The PF9, which is an all-polymer 9mm super small one, single stack. At the time, it was pretty innovative because it was very light for what it was. The CP33, which is a 33-round 22 long rifle pistol. Pretty funny because it's a quad stack. You got to check one out. I haven't done one yet. I'll grab one. And, of course, the PMR30, which I have owned as well, which is a 30-round 22 Magnum pistol. It's about the size of an FN57, but it shoots a 22 Magnum round. Hilarious gun, huge fireball. If you have a chance to get one, get one. But like I was saying, their production, manufacturing, and shipping things, totally different things. I think every morning, somebody goes to KelTec factory, takes 3 darts, and on a board, they have product. They throw a dart. Whatever it lands on, that's what they're going to build that day. Then they have production number. They throw another dart. Whatever it lands on, that's how many they're going to build that day. And then shipping. They throw a third dart. Whatever that lands on, that's how many of those they're going to ship that day. It could be anywhere from 0 to 100%. Maybe that's how it works because sometimes their guns are super available and sometimes you can't get them even if they were sitting in a warehouse with a giant sign saying, "Take me free." Let's go ahead and talk about this guy. And again, I'm not insulting KelTec. It's a small operation and they make fun stuff. This is a massive plastic case because we are taking a look at a massive plastic and steel gun. This is the KelTec P50 by KelTec. It uses PS90 magazines, and we will talk about that in a second. Inside this big old box, you get a nice foam insert. You get your manual, of course. You get a couple stickers. You get a price tag from Liberty Arms. Fun stuff. It's a double deep foam underneath here, so you can actually cut that foam to put accessories, your optic, hand guards, your brace, whatever you want to put in there, ammo, and anything you want. It does come with the Sling Attachments, which we will be getting back to because it's pretty interesting what you can do with those. You do get the sling, a trigger lock, which, you know, it is what it is, and a spare magazine. These guys are like, depending on who you buy it from, anywhere from $40 to $100. Actual FMs are more expensive because they are a special type of magazine. We'll look at it closer when we open up the gun. Nice box. I like it. A lot of KelTec stuff comes in cardboard boxes, which is usually fine, but this is a special type of firearm. This is like a halo product. This is what the Sub 2K was. This is the one that's supposed to catch your attention. It is chambered in a very niche round. Only a few guns fire it, but it's an impressive round nonetheless. This thing is chambered in 5.7 by 28, which is a super small round that's traveling super fast. The 40 grain Federals that we had in the store, or have in the store, travel at over 2,500 feet per second out of a pistol. And that's actually rated for the FN57, which is a 5.7 inch barrel. This is a 11 inch barrel, 10 inch barrel technically. This is pretty darn cool. Because it uses the FN's magazine style, I'm going to say magazine style going forward because it's not an actual Fabrique Nationale made magazine, it is requiring a lot of engineering, which is something KelTec is known for. They have their bottom ejecting rifles, their forward ejecting rifles, all kinds of bullpups, all kinds of fun stuff. And yeah, this was no different. They did a lot of engineering for not a lot of money, and you'll see that as we go through it as well. It is a single action only hammer fired gun. As you can see, the grip looks like the PMR 30 until you get up here. Standard style trigger, nothing fancy there. It does have an ambidextrous safety. Obviously, because the mag release is right back here, you only need an ambi safety. It's very, very stiff. I'm sure it'll break in a little bit as it gets used because you're running through plastics. But it's definitive too. And when the safety is engaged, it's a full trigger disconnect. When it's disengaged and the gun is live, it's a very short pull. Very light pull, very much like the PMR 30, super light. 4 pounds, maybe. Just has a wall and then boink, breaks. The reset. Basically all the way out to the wall. There's a little bit of extra room, and then you go into the next shot. Sorry, that was a little light, so it just went right into the next shot. But yeah, right back to the wall, next shot. 5.7 by 28 is a center fire cartridge, and this is a hammer fire gun, so it's fine. You can drop the hammer, you can dry fire, you can do that. You're not going to damage something. Just don't be pulling the trigger when the top is off. You can see cues that they saved money, things like this front hinge. That is a Home Depot counter hinge, if I've ever seen one. But it works. It's big, it's chunky, it works. It's not necessary, but it works. The top has a pick rail running most of the length until you get to the ejection port. Top ejecting, and then it comes back here and continues with some extra rail, so you can put standard iron sights or flip-up sights or whatever have you on the gun, as well as having your pick rail for optics and all that good stuff. On the bottom, you do have a 1913 style pick rail down here, so you can mount your light, laser, hand stop, whatever you want to put on there. The length of pull, even with a brace, is too short. The overall length, I would not put a vertical hand grip on this gun. You could put a hand stop, which is that little nub that stops your hand from going too far forward, but I would not put a vertical hand grip on something like this. It does have this integrated basic hand grip right there. It's actually designed for that. You can see because of the way it's curved. So you can actually hold the gun like this. It's very comfortable because it's quite light. I mean, it's very light. Weighs less than the 1911. But yeah, you can grab it from there. Uses a charging handle like an AR-15. You'll see it's very different inside. It's almost like a Lagos Alien. So let's go ahead and take it apart. I find it's easier to do it with the hammer actually back. That's why I charged the handle. Once you do that, you just take your finger release there, grab it, and pull up. Very easy, very simple. The magazine is not retained in any way, so it would just flop out. That's why I opened it the way I did. Let's take a look at the lower part first, and here's your fire control group, all of this here. So you have a bar going here to the release, which drops a sear, which then lets the hammer go doink and come forward and fire. Glass top. Very simple, and it works. That's the point, right? We don't need something super complicated. Oh, let's take a look at the top, because that's where the complication lies. In here, obviously you have your firing pin tube up here, and then you have dual springs, which is good. It helps mitigate recoil as well as makes it a little bit easier to use. A little bit easier to charge because you're not fighting a huge spring. So when you have two lighter springs, it's easier to charge the handle. The barrel is up here at the very top. Again, like I was saying, very much like the Lagos Alien, which has dual springs and a barrel that's over the springs. Yes. Not a whole lot to say in there, though. It's just, yeah. It's an amazing thing that they built, especially considering the time that we're in, that they actually went through with building this thing. They could have said, you know what, times are tough and we need to just build sub 2Ks, but no, they went ahead and built something as wonderfully bizarre as the P50. Coming up front, very standard KelTec thing. They put a threaded barrel on here, so you can go ahead and mount a suppressor on a gun that shoots at 2,500 feet per second. Not sure the benefit, but okay. You could also put a screw-on flash hider or a muzzle brake or whatever you want to. Not that you would need a muzzle brake on a 5.7 by 28. By the way, I got to show you a Ruger 1022 that's at the shop. The dude put a full-on like AR-15 or 308 muzzle brake on one. It looks glorious. Let's go ahead and put this back together. So what you see here is the magazine. Actually, let's look at the magazine for a second, because for those of you that haven't seen one, the way a P90 works, or a PS90, the PS is the semi-automatic version of the P90. Here in the United States, we're not allowed to have the fully automatic version. The rounds sit sideways until they come up here, and then they rotate and drop into the chamber of the firearm. In this case, they rotate up and spin so that the barrel, or excuse me, the bullet is facing that way. So it actually travels back over the magazine when it fires the gun. Pretty neat, pretty interesting. I've never actually had an opportunity to fire a PS90, but maybe if I get a chance to shoot this, if one of our buddies buys it, maybe I'll get a chance to take it out and shoot it, and then we can show you how it loads and how it fires. Pretty cool. In order to load the firearm, you load your magazine, set your magazine down. You'll see it just kind of sits right in there. And then kind of like a camera A, camera B, camera C mark, you just pop it back together, and there you go. Is it available in other colors? It will be. Currently, only black was available. I like their FDEs. I like their OD greens. But black is cool, too. We'll have to see what happens in the future. Obviously, this being a plastic frame, probably a little bit more limited in what you can do to it. I'd put some skate tape or something on the handle, or I might get it stippled. You do have to be careful, though, because KelTec assembles their frames in 2 pieces, so there's lots of screws and bolts, so you can't really modify where those go. That noise is just the buffers around the recoil springs. It does actually come with a sight. It's just hilariously small and built into the top of the pick rail. I would not rely on that to save my life on anything over like the end of the barrel, but it is nice that at least it's incorporated. So yeah, that's the KelTec P50. Who is this gun for? People like me, aka gun nuts and idiots. People that want something completely different. People that want to fire the 5.7 by 28 round without having to spend $2,500 to $3,500 for a PS90. I'm sure there might be a few out there that are a little bit cheaper, but even a FN57 costs around $1,500 to $1,600. That's why the Ruger 57 took off so well. People that want something that has a fast-moving round. And yeah, you can put a brace on this. It's a pistol, so you can put a brace. That's why this sling attachment is where it is. They make a sling attachment, a pick rail-based brace attachment that goes over the back, and then you can use like a side folder or even a fixed brace, and then you can have a brace on the back. They also, there's a company that manufactures this, a side folder that goes in there, and that's like a $400, $500 piece. I don't know if I would recommend spending $500 on a brace, but an SBA 3 or an SBA 4, that's a $200, $300 brace, so we'll have to see what happens there. Again, if somebody I know buys this and lets me borrow it, I'll take it out and shoot it. Otherwise, if one of you guys wants to pony up on it, call Liberty Arms, give them your credit card number and say, hey, I'm going to buy a gift certificate for my buddy Joe so he can have that gun and shoot stuff that I tell him to. Inanimate objects, I will not shoot anything that has a heartbeat. Yeah, so come back for more stuff like this. I do have a couple more videos filmed in the can, and we will take a look at that, including a 22 caliber MP5 manufactured by HK, which is coming. So come back for that. Let me know if you have one of these, how much you enjoy shooting it, or if you hate it, let me know that too. I'm not beholden to KelTec or any manufacturer, and we'll just kind of take it from there. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. Over 7,200 subs. That's awesome. Let's keep it growing, keep it going. Use my affiliate links, all that fun stuff. And as always, I'll give you a close-up on the gun as I turn you off, and I'll talk to you later.